Looks like artificial intelligence is popping up almost everywhere now. I see so many videos advertising ways that you can use as a content editor AI features. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of get a snapshot of what kind of advice AI would give us and whether or not it's any good. So let's go ahead and jump into this. The first AI project I put in was just gardening. So let's take a look at what it came up with, and I'm going to rank it on a scale of 1 through 5 stars, and you can let me know in the comments if you agree with my ranking or not, if you think it's better or worse than I am assessing it. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. Gardening with AI.
I've always found solace in the simple act of gardening. The feeling of soil between my fingers, the vibrant colors of blooming flowers, and the satisfaction of nurturing life from seed to harvest. From pruning to weeding, every task feels like a dance with nature. And the best part? The joy of harvesting your own fresh produce, knowing that you played a part in its growth. Gardening isn't just a hobby, it's a way to connect with the earth and reap the rewards of your labor.
The first little video I pulled was, or created, was the gardening AI version. So I just typed in gardening and I was curious to see what it would come back with. And it could have been worse, but it could have definitely been a lot better. So on a scale of 1 through 5 stars, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, I gave this one a ranking of 2 stars. Some of the things I thought was interesting was that, of course, most gardeners love the feel of soil in their fingers. Okay. And then it says harvesting is the best part. Well, that's kind of obvious, but also to me, I don't think harvesting is the best part. I like seed saving. To me, seed saving is the best part. And also kind of weird is at the very end of that little video snapshot, they show a picture of a big sunflower with a bottle of sunflower oil. How many home gardeners process their own sunflower oil? Seems a little bit unrealistic, honestly. That would be kind of a cool project, but does not seem quite real, right? So that's going to be my big criticism from that, is that, just kind of pulls pictures and little video captures that kind of go with the idea of gardening, but not in any real specific theme or even really on target. So let's go ahead and look at the next video. This one I put in permaculture, and I had to tweak it a little bit on my search. Let's go ahead and check out the permaculture video.
In the world of English permaculture, sustainability meets creativity. It's about designing harmonious ecosystems that work with nature, not against it. From food forests to rainwater harvesting, every element serves a purpose. By mimicking natural patterns, we create abundance while caring for the planet. It's a beautiful dance of plants, animals, and humans working together in perfect balance. Join me in this journey of regenerative living, where every action we take shapes a brighter, greener future.
You can't tell from this video, but when I searched for permaculture, it actually came back in French. So I had to type in English permaculture, and that's why in the beginning of the video it says something like, in English permaculture, blah, 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 blah. And it's well, actually permaculture is without origin. I just wanted it to be in English. So obviously the whole concept of permaculture is that there's a harmonious balance between nature and what we want from it. It was interesting that it talked about harmonious ecosystems. At the same time, in the background, you could see the videos of the monoculture farm equipment, just kind of plowing through. That was kind of ironic. So it's not pulling pictures and words that complement each other. So kind of random. On a scale of 1 through 5 for the permaculture AI video, I ranked it a 1 because I thought it was pretty awful. Let's take a look at a short video pulled up from the terms Victory Garden. I was looking really for World War II themes, seeing if they actually had any pictures and video that would really be on target. Let's see how that turned out.
During World War II, Victory Gardens became a symbol of resilience and unity. These gardens weren't just about growing vegetables, they were about supporting our troops and feeding our communities. People of all ages and backgrounds came together to plant, tend, and harvest these gardens, showing the power of collective effort in times of need. Victory Gardens weren't just about victory in war, but victory over adversity and the strength found in coming together for a common cause.
They didn't actually do too bad in terms of the Victory Garden definition. However, the images were really off. They were all very modern and did not seem to complement the definition of Victory Gardening whatsoever. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Victory Garden, it was basically the push for home anybody at home to have a garden that would provide them with fresh fruits and vegetables during wartime. So the pictures in there don't really seem to be on target either. I gave that a one star. Next up, we're looking at how AI interprets raised bed gardening. So I typed in raised beds, and I thought maybe this is gonna come out kind of weird. It's gonna be like Sealy Posturepedic or something. But it actually did pull up gardening ideas.
I used to struggle with gardening until I discovered raised garden beds. These elevated beauties not only make gardening easier on my back, but also provide better drainage and soil quality. Plus, they keep pesky critters away. With raised garden beds, I can grow a variety of plants, from veggies to flowers, all in one convenient space. It's like having a mini paradise right in my backyard. So, if you want to take your gardening game to the next level, raised garden beds are the way to go.
I gave this 3 stars, and the reason why I think this is the best one so far, is because yes, it is easier on the back. Yes, it does keep critters away. Actually, when I first started gardening at this property, the rabbits would get into everything. And so just by raising up like 12 inches off the ground, I was able to keep the native rabbits out of my garden. So that was big. And then I had never had any rabbits, knock on wood, getting to anything that I have in pots. So raised bed gardening obviously is going to be better on your back if you have mobility issues like that, and then also keeps rabbits out. It's not going to keep deer out, but it would help with rabbits. And then the downside is that the images don't even show raised beds. So it's about raised bed gardening, but the pictures do not show anything that seems to be actually in a raised bed itself. So I gave it 3 stars, but it definitely could have been a 2. And the next one we're going to do is front yard gardening. So let's see what AI decided front yard gardening would be.
I love spending time in my front yard garden. It's not just a hobby, it's my sanctuary. From vibrant flowers to fresh herbs, every plant tells a story. Gardening isn't just about beautifying the space. It's about connecting with nature and finding peace in the midst of chaos. The joy of seeing a seed grow into a blooming flower is truly magical. It's a reminder that with patience and care, beautiful things can flourish. So, if you ever need a moment of tranquility, step into your front yard garden and let nature work its wonders.
I thought the front yard gardening video was pretty terrible because all of the images and things they talk about, like gardening being a positive experience, that could be any kind of gardening, not specifically front yard gardening whatsoever. Right now, I'm actually in my front yard. This is my front yard food forest. This is my front yard garden. So, I mean, the road is right there. That's why we hear so much road traffic. We hear lots of vroom, vroom, vroom. And I was just kind of curious. I didn't see anything about the HOAs or, examples of what a front yard garden could look like. So I was kind of disappointed in that one. That one would have been easy, I think, for AI to pull up images that were a little bit more on target. And our last one is container gardening. So let's take a look at container gardening. We already looked at the raised beds. Now let's look at containers.
I love container gardening because it lets me grow plants anywhere, even with limited space. All you need is a container, soil, and your favorite plant. Make sure the container has drainage holes to prevent overwatering. Choose the right size container for your plant's roots to thrive. Remember to water regularly and provide enough sunlight. Container gardening is a fun and versatile way to bring nature into your home.
So AI didn't do too terrible on the container gardening video. Um, it had a pretty good definition, I guess, a basic definition, like what you could get from a Google search. The tips kind of make sense, honestly. Obviously, drainage holes if you're container gardening, and water regularly because those containers are going to dry out a lot faster than plants you have in the ground. So that was pretty obvious, but pretty good for AI, I think. The images were reused. So I noticed that some of the images, especially like the older lady, I saw that in one of the previous ones I did. So I wonder how limited the different choices it's pulling from are, because I'm already seeing, I only did like a handful of little videos that are like 25 seconds each, and I'm already seeing reused images. Did you notice any other reused images besides the lady? Interesting. So I didn't like that. I mean, if you're doing a lot of videos like this and then you see the same pieces over and over again, seems kind of like shabby. Not so good. Also, another problem I saw is that it features, okay, this is supposed to be container gardening. It features succulents that are obviously houseplants. So would you even call that container gardening? Like, obviously houseplants are going to be in containers. I would consider container gardening like when you're actually growing a garden outside in containers, things that you would normally have in the ground, but you have in a container instead. So maybe that's me being picky, but I didn't like how they interpreted the pictures to go with the video at all. So I gave that 2 stars, but it could have been a 1. What did you think of these videos? Did you think any of them I ranked a little bit too easy? Or did I rank them too kind or not harsh enough, whatever? So go ahead and comment below. What did you think of AI's interpretation of gardening? I keep stumbling across AI generated videos on YouTube, and I have to say I pretty much hate them. I haven't seen any AI videos that I actually enjoy. I like to hear a real person's voice. I like to see the mistakes. I like to see reality. What does it really look like? What does it really feel like? No, all these like little snapshots that are just put together like a collage almost seems like Google, you know what I mean? I know that in time this is going to get more sophisticated to the point maybe where you can't even tell if they are real or AI. I have a previous video, I'm going to link it in the description and in the comments, where I made a satire about like preparedness and fake news and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, if you take it too seriously, it's not that funny, but if you're into satire, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to be doing another AI video in the future about preparedness, and I'll be doing a video on some reflections about hot summer gardening and maybe how to be more effective preparing for it, because there are some days when you come outside and you just feel like you can't do anything. So I'm going to do something on hot summer gardening pretty soon. I've got a bunch of different containers, garden setups, that like the vertical planners I'm going to be putting together. Lots and lots of stuff going on here, especially since I finished teaching summer school, so I actually have more time to put up some video content. So of course we want to do some harvesting and other things. I want to show you my red love apples that have red flesh, and lots of other things. I'm propagating a bunch of figs. I have a brown turkey fig collection in a pitcher that are all rooted and ready to go. Lots of stuff coming up soon, so if you're interested, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below, what did you think about these AI videos? Did they have any value? And do you hope to see more content like mine or more content like AI? So you want it real or artificial? I mean, the artificial seems a little bit more professional. They're all little cute little pieces of like a puzzle that are all put together, but they're not necessarily true. Like in the videos, the AI videos, it says I. It's like, I have, from my experience, I'm like, it's AI. It doesn't have an experience. It's just pulling stuff and then saying it like it's a person. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, I like the technology in a way. It's kind of interesting, but I do kind of think it's a little bit scary because at some point the AI is going to get really, really good. And then you might not be able to differentiate between a real person versus not real. I've seen even some commercials where it's like it's a car commercial and the child in the car is AI generated. And I was like, you know what? A child actor would have really loved that role. So I'm more interested in people than AI, but maybe AI has a place. Like maybe like in education as like a creative storytelling or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it's complicated. You know, I have a degree in technology, but I also have a degree in biology. And I'm like, these things kind of intersect sometimes. And there's a place for it. For instance, there are several different resources that you can use. Like I'm a teacher, I can put in an article, and I can, if it's let's say 8th grade reading level, and I have a student who can barely read, I can have it generate the same article, excuse me, but at like a 2nd or 3rd grade level. And so I mean that's actually a really good use of it. Also, like for games like Kahoot, you can put in an article and it can pull questions from the article and make it into a game, which is really interesting. But then of course you have to go through it because sometimes the answers don't match up right, and that would be really bad to have students practicing something that's incorrect. So you do have to double check everything, but it makes it go really fast and it does save some time. So it has a place, but I think we have to be really careful in how we use and overuse technology. That's my 2 cents. Put yours below. Remember what I say, be good, be sweet, and grow a garden if you want to eat. I'll see you next time.